Hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. We've got Thursday night football going tonight, Eagles and Giants. Steve's going to join as well. Let me send him the invite so he can hop in when he wants. If you guys have questions on the game tonight, go ahead and ask. I tweeted it out earlier, but I really didn't. I don't love any betting angles from this game. I really like AJ Brown tonight to score a touchdown. Just a clear and obvious, get right spot for him, I think, against a, man heavy defense. I think Steve's in here. I'm going to add him in. So that's kind of like my main angle tonight, I guess. Yesterday was terrible. I hate the Yankees. Steve will attest to that when I come in here, or when I bring him in. 1 second. Steve, I'm sure you hate the Yankees as well. But yeah, just disasters yesterday.
No one likes the Yankees. I don't know if you're wearing that hat today as like you're visiting a funeral and you're paying your respects.
It's
for
a
those that have moved
punishment.
on.
It's a punishment for the fact that I fell for that trap and bet on them yesterday. It's a punishment.
You're right the day before.
Yeah.
Heading into the game, I was like, okay, they're going to get one off them. And like the problem with blowouts, especially in baseball, I think everyone knows this, is that the fielders start to get sleepy. And the Jays probably shouldn't have lost game 3. If they didn't go up by so many runs in the beginning, I bet you they would have been more alert. They wouldn't have made those 3 defensive errors, and then it would have been game over. But I will give credit to Judge. That home run, even though the wind kept it in the ballpark and like a bunch of factors, like that, hitting that ball is insanity.
Yeah, that was like so first and foremost, I fell for a trap. Like the Blue Jays are like, I got to give all the credit to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are the better team, and they deserve to win. Like they outplayed the Yankees for, I would say, all but like 3 or 4 innings in that all those games. But yes, to your point, Judge, that pitch he hit for a home run, like I don't know if there's anyone else in the league that could hit that for that was insane how
Or like
fast
3
he turned on that.
generations.
Yeah, that was insane.
He got lucky because they said earlier in the broadcast the wind was blowing in from that direction, so it probably held the line. But just to even get enough bat on that pitch.
Yeah.
I had in a group chat. They were showing like the Statcast and where the pitch was, and then I had a very inappropriate joke that aligned with that particular Statcast ball location home run. I won't get into it on the pod, but you can probably use your imagination as to what the joke was.
Yeah, that was a fun series though. I'm happy for the Blue Jays. Hopefully we talked about it back in the summer. I said I still thought the Dodgers, like all summer, I thought the Dodgers would still go. We'll see what happens there. But with how wide open the American League is, like any of these teams could have won. So I'll definitely be rooting for the Blue Jays. I would love to see them get to the World Series. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, 4 teams remain, or
and
4
anything
teams
can
will
happen
remain.
if you give yourself a chance. Just got to get there.
Well, and now they go to They go to 7-game series. So,
Yes.
it's not as much about getting hot and cold. And maybe this is issuing a formal apology to Shapiro and Atkins. I know we talked about it off the air. When they came and they replaced Alex Anthopoulos, who I was a huge fan of and thought he had constructed great teams.
Mm-hmm.
Canadian, like just it was kind of disappointing that they couldn't find a future for him, but I get it. They're known for their ability to develop a pipeline, and the thesis was if they bring that farm system, player development, etc., in combination with the just sheer amount of resources and money that Rogers has, that they could build a dynasty. And it hasn't. The big signings didn't work out, so they really haven't been able to exploit the advantage of having like unlimited money. But man, were we ever wrong about their ability to like analyze pipeline, et cetera. Like the Varsho trade, that seemed like a terrible idea at the time and then didn't pan out in year one, but he's been an absolute stud. Ernest Clement, like I'm definitely getting an Ernie Clement baseball card for sure.
Yeah, what a performance from him.
Nathan Lucas, Straw comes in off the bench and hits like
Yeah,
how
got an
often
RBI. Yeah.
think of how many times I was thinking about this the other day, and like Jason Dominguez did the same thing last night, but like how many times did a guy actually come off the bench and like cold have a meaningful at bat? Not very often.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Typically, it's
and like
just like right at the end of the game,
yeah, then they come in and strike out and they're done because they've been sitting eating sunflower seeds for 2 hours. Um, so big. I apologize for my criticism. I was wrong. They've done a great job. And one last apology, John Schneider. I really criticized a lot of his decision making in years past. Uh, he, I don't think he made a managerial mistake in that series.
Yeah, that
And
I definitely would agree with that.
for the bullpen, like, did they ever execute a bullpen game yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, as well as you could have. Like they couldn't have done any better than that.
No. And like, I would have never started with Varland. I thought they would go Lauer to start, but go with Varland to like top of the order, silence the crowd, throw smoke for like an inning and a half, and then move on, and then bring Lauer. Like the whole thing
Yeah,
just worked out really well. Like, very smart game plan.
yeah, I completely agree.
Okay, enough Blue
So
Jays talk.
yeah, we'll do a little preview at some point. Once we know the team after the weekend, like we'll know who's playing and stuff. So next week will definitely be fun because we'll know kind of what's going on in those
One
series.
comment for those on the stream that are not Canadian and don't understand our makeup as a country. The Seattle Mariners are like team number 2 in Canada. Like
Yeah,
most of the Western teams, like they like the Blue Jays and they would cheer for them, but their team is the Mariners. They go to Seattle, they watch games. I know some people they prefer the Mariners over the Jays. Like that's their, even though they're American. So if that was the series, although my preference would be for Detroit versus
yeah,
the Jays.
you'd much rather face Detroit, I
Yeah,
think.
but it would be a really interesting kind of rivalry.
Yeah, that is interesting. Ryan, wasn't sure if you saw my Discord message about who to start. Yeah, I will answer you after this. I would say, Ryan, right now, yeah, it would be tough. Tomorrow will be you're in a tough spot because of the game tonight. Tomorrow will be big for Worthy whether or not he practices, but I wouldn't be shocked if he does not play, I guess, because it's a short week and he was like clearly not 100% in that game. The problem is if he does play against Detroit, he's like a top 14 like overall place. It's a really, really tough call. Maybe what I would do, Ryan, is like pick someone up if you can. Like, if there's any KC receivers out there that you could pick up and put on your bench, and then in the instance that Worthy doesn't play, you just swap them in one for one. Trey, what's up? Nathan, what's up? Guru's in here. Dewan. So I don't know. You want to do a little preview for tonight's game? See if you have any thoughts on tonight's game, and then we can kind of get into anything else that you have or want to talk about.
What am I thinking for tonight's game? Um, I'm kind of disappointed that the Giants aren't better. So I don't know. I think actually I'm quite excited, and I haven't followed up. Is Dart going to start? I'm assuming he is.
Yeah, he's gonna start for the rest of the season. Like they already like confirmed that.
They
So
confirmed that.
they're
So
just they're
Wilson's
just
out.
rolling with him.
Okay.
I think I don't like from like a betting or like fantasy perspective tonight. I don't know how exciting it's gonna be. I think the Eagles are just going to like destroy them. And we'll see. Like the line 7.5. It's a road, in division game. So those things sometimes can get a little weird. But I just don't think like the Eagles have played a very, very tough schedule this year, and they still rate out, pretty well defensively. And the Giants, I mean, look at who they've played. Like, first of all, Dart has been exciting, but he struggled as a passer for basically both time. Like the two starts that he's made, he's struggled as a passer. The Giants have played Washington, Dallas, KC, LA, and the Saints. And they really haven't churned out any great offensive games. Russell Wilson had a great offensive game against Dallas, but Dart, people thought he'd see like a lot better of a game as going against the Saints as opposed to the Chargers, but he still had some untimely turnovers. I think this is going to be a really, really tough spot for them against the Eagles defense. So I think the Eagles are just going to roll them, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It is games like this that like make and break early quarterbacks in particular, kind of their career. So interestingly enough, years and years and years ago, I went to a Seahawks game versus the Pats. Tomas Brady, Bill Belichick, William Belichick. And this is right after the scab refs. And if I remember correctly, the Seahawks beat the Pats that game. And there was all these little things like Belichick like ran down the clock in the second to going in the second half, like because they thought that they were, but it was like one of Russell Wilson's coming out parties. And he was absolutely electric, just beetling around, throwing darts. So I look at it, I'm like, well, where is Dart going to have that game? Like, could it be tonight?
Is this the Brady sitting on the ground meme game? This is what Trey's asking. I think it might be.
Could be.
I would need to research this, but that'd be pretty crazy.
I have video of it. Like the other thing too is that stadium is so loud. If
Mhm.
anyone has ever been to that stadium, it is like the way it's designed, not good for your ears.
Yeah. Ryan, I think that's fine. Yeah, I would have Smith behind Marv, and then obviously behind Worthy. So I think you're safe there. Maybe just leave Smith out for tonight. It's a good matchup. So not a lot of teams play man coverage in the NFL anymore, and the teams that are man heavy, it's still, it's like 35-40% of the time. Like people just don't play man coverage anymore. The Giants are the number one most man heavy team in the NFL. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, both those guys are very, very good against man coverage. So maybe it's a good game for the Eagles passing. I know everyone's focused on Saquon Barkley going back to New York, and that's like the big narrative and stuff. But this is like such a perfect get right spot for AJ Brown. They've, this wheel has been as squeaky as anything. Like they need to get him going, and this is the best possible spot to do it. So I like AJ Brown a lot tonight. Interesting spot on the Giants side would be what they do. Obviously, no Neighbors, but now Darius Slayton's out too. So they have Jalen Hyatt, probably more of just like a down the field guy. I don't see him playing like a massive role in terms of target volume. So it kind of becomes what do they do with Bo Collins? Or it's basically, are they going to play Bo Collins as like a 1-for-1 replacement for Darius Slayton? Or are they going to swap that? And because the Eagles pass rush is good, did they play more 12 personnel and they play Daniel Bellinger more and try and help out blocking? I don't have an answer to it, but that's something to like think through from a Giants perspective, especially on the DFS streets. Like Bo Collins is very cheap. You could use him. Daniel Bellinger is very cheap. You could use him, but it's kind of an unknown. I don't know. I would guess they probably play Bo Collins a good bit. He's pretty athletic. But if they're really getting crushed and Dart's getting sacked and stuff, they could put Daniel Bellinger in and, just run 2 tight ends and help out blocking. I have no idea, but something to think through. Okay. Overall, I mean, that's my thoughts on the game, Steve. I don't know if you have anything else. I mean, I think the Eagles are going to roll. I think A.J. Brown's going to have a big game. And that's about my thoughts on the game, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion.
It's also narrative. Obviously, people know A.J. Brown, Batman nickname, going to New York. Just feels right. Prime time. He's going to have a big game.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. So do you have anything in particular? I know hockey just started. If you want to get into that, obviously we can look at your fantasy teams if you want to do that. I helped Aiden with his team on Tuesday. So if we want to check in with how your teams are doing, we can do that as well.
Yeah, we can do that. I can share my screen and pull up my my team, just share it with everybody. One sec. Just getting set up here.
So did I tell you about the mistake I made in the FSGA Guillotine League?
No.
Okay, so I have far and away the best team in the Guillotine League. I'm in first place. If you look at most points, it's like not even close. Like we are absolutely dominating everybody in the 17-team FSGA Guillotine League. The problem is, I guess I didn't read the rules fully. I was under the impression that if you spend all of your money, you can't make waiver acquisitions the rest of the year, correct? Like I can't bid. Like if I use all my money, I can't put in bids on anybody. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, because I have no money left. What I didn't read was it costs $1 to make any moves.
Oh.
So I unknowingly to that, which I'm not blaming anyone. It's my fault. I guess I should have thoroughly read the league, but I've never played in a guillotine league before. So again, my fault.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that rule.
Me either. I thought if I use all my money, I can't put bids in, but I still could pick people up after it goes through and they're just available to pick up. That's not the case. You have to have $1. So I put all of my money on Jonathan Taylor a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I got Jonathan Taylor, but now I can't make any moves the rest of the year because I don't have I don't have any dollars. So I can't even after the waivers go through, I can't even add anyone. It's the dumbest thing ever. So
can you trade?
Lose. I don't think there's trades. We're gonna lose because I have no money, even though we have the best team. It's so annoying. I'm so mad about it.
Well, we might not lose. Like it's a guillotine.
I know, but I don't have like when there's bye weeks, like we're gonna get zeros for guys, and it's like if you score the lowest of the week, that's how you get eliminated. If it was total points, we would survive. But I have like 3 guys on the Cowboys, so I think it's like week 10 when they have a bye. I don't know what we could do, like because there's only like 4 bench spots, so I don't have like positions to fill. And the quarterback that I have on my bench is JJ McCarthy because that's who I drafted. And I never I never had an opportunity to pick up another quarterback. So if JJ McCarthy doesn't come back, when the Cowboys go on bye on week 10, we're going to have no Dak Prescott, no George Pickens, and no Jake Ferguson. And that's going to be tough to overcome for 1 week, It's just so stupid. I had no idea. It's my fault, but I literally think we were going to win this league. Like our team is loaded.
So 17 teams, 18 weeks. There will be 7 teams remaining in week 10.
Yeah. Yep. And
they're going to be picking up the talent.
So keep in mind, this is our team in a 17-team league. And keep in mind, I've made no moves for 3 weeks because I picked up Jonathan Taylor 4 weeks ago. So after 3 weeks of football, our team in a 17-team league, which is just off of me drafting and then picking up Jonathan Taylor, Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Chuba Hubbard, who is hurt, and then Aaron Jones is hurt, so that sucks. But Dak, Jonathan Taylor, George Pickens, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Justin Jefferson. Like, we are loaded for a 17-team league.
Yeah.
And I can't make any other pickups. Somehow I drafted JSN and Jefferson in a 17-team league, which is crazy to me. But
well, JSN, he was so late in so many drafts.
I know. It just sucks, man. So hopefully you can. I'm gonna put your screen up. Hopefully you can carry us through here in the other FSGA league because I'm gonna get screwed.
Hopefully we get lucky and someone's asleep at the wheel in week 10 or is in a similar position
Yeah. Yeah,
for
I'm not gonna
buys.
call us dead
Ow,
because like we have so many points each week just off of
ow.
our team, but
Just ignore me over here banging my knees into the desk.
that's gonna be a good clip right there.
Yeah, you're gonna clip that one. I'd blooper reel.
Jim, you said Devonta Smith or Keenan Allen in half PPR. I'm gonna half PPR.
I've been loving Keenan Allen this year. I don't know if
Yeah,
half makes a big difference, but
good spot obviously against the Dolphins as well. Yeah, I would go Keenan there, Jim. Better matchup, and he's been more consistent as well. Like typically half PPR, you would weigh touchdowns more heavily, right? So like, someone that catches like 10 balls but never scores a touchdown, like that's less valuable in a half PPR because you're not getting 10 points for the catches. But I would say Keenan Allen honestly is more likely to score than Devonta Smith at this point, and he gets more volume too. So, and it's a better matchup. All right, so if you can break this down for us if you want.
yeah,
I did hit a parlay night one if you saw that in the Discord.
Nice. So this is a relatively competitive 10-team league. It's half keeper. So we have about 13 spots, plus 2 minor spots. You get to keep a few young bucks as well. And actually Aiden's in this league as well. So we go toe to toe, let the bickering continue. My team is we made a decision early on to brand our teams so people couldn't have ridiculous names. So my team is the Flames. So we all picked an NHL team. I picked the Flames, or it was assigned to me, I think, originally. And quite happy with where things landed. The model that we're using a Z-score ranking, and the categories are goals, assists, plus minus, penalty minutes, shots on goal, power play points, hits, blocks, face-offs. So the idea is that this is supposed to be, I think, a 14 category league, 15 category league, including goalies, and has a little bit of offense, defense and goaltending kind of equally split. So the interesting thing is, I've been in a little bit of a rebuild, so I've got a lot of good young players. Like I got Celebrini, I got Bedard. I drafted Keller this year, not young, but they've been doing a lot better. Marty Nikash, we talked about him a ton last year. Got
That's
him.
the only. So night one, I made the parlay: Avs to win the game, him to score a goal, and the under goals. I solely made that parlay just because I know you've talked about him on the stream. Like I know nothing about Mr. Marty there, but because you've talked about him all the time, I made that parlay and he did score and the Avalanche won. So that was shout out to you
Really
for
motivated. He randomly came out and was like, I'm not signing in Colorado. Like, I'm done here. It was like, you just got there. You got out of Carolina. You got what you wanted. And now you don't like Colorado. Like, this guy is extremely talented, but he might have a bad attitude. So I think he's motivated this year. Like, if you're betting anytime goals, put him on your list of, because he's extremely talented. He's proven that. And he's motivated because for some reason he doesn't like Colorado. And I suspect he's probably motivated by dollar bills and knows that he's not going to get paid in Colorado.
What did you think of me? So I've only placed one NHL future, and it was the Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup.
I think they have a chance. I think they kind of rebuilt their goaltending on the fly last year. At the end of the day, and they got Brent Burns this year, so I think that they have a chance. They have one of the best players in the world, but it's tough because they're going to go up against Dallas. That was our team last year.
Yep.
You got Edmonton. It's not like the two best players in the world are going anywhere, and the
Vegas
best player in the world. You got Vegas. The best player in the world has said, I want to win, so I'm actually not going to take max dollars. which essentially frees up the spot on the team for one good player. You got Vegas. Eichel kind of did the same thing, but not really, where he's taking a little bit of a pay cut to win. Vegas looks really good. They have Mitch Marner now. So that's the only thing. It's quite competitive in the West. There are some good teams.
Nice. Yeah. I'm
But
excited.
but
I'm
again,
excited to watch hockey a bunch this year because, like, when I joined the team last year, it was like I didn't come on really full time until like another month from now. So we were kind of like in the midst of the season a little bit then.
yeah, you're a
But I
little bit of
definitely
an
watched.
ankle bender when it came to
Yeah.
hockey, and we've been
Yeah.
teaching you.
Yep. I'm gonna Chad. I'm telling you, if this sports betting law does not get reversed, I might end up Steve. I might be moving in with Steve. Chat. I don't know. Does he have like a basement or something? I might be in Steve's basement.
We do have a basement. You'll be down there with the
Sure.
100-year-old boiler.
Yeah, of the stream.
Yeah.
Streaming from Steve's dungeon down there, I
Yeah.
guess. Be crazy.
Yeah. No, we'll move you in at Jeff's house.
Dude, so that would be so chat, you guys don't know Jeff. We got to get Jeff on the stream at some point. That
We
would
do.
be the content that I could create if I was living with Jeff Robinson would be, oh my lord. Chat, we'd be viral quickly
Yeah.
over here.
He's a funny guy too. He's a bit camera shy. Which is funny because he was a theater nerd as
Yeah,
a child.
and he was didn't he host a radio show?
He was on the radio like every night. But there's no camera.
Well, I mean, technically he could come on the stream and I'll just like put a picture of him and he can just
Well, the
talk.
other thing too is Josh took sports journalism, like sports
Yeah, Josh is
broadcasting.
another one that's never come on the stream. Like these guys duck me, and we've got the fact that Abel came on a stream before Jeff and Josh. I mean, seriously, come on.
Yeah, we got to clip this and post it.
Yeah, I will. I'm
We'll just-
calling them out. They got to get
but
on here.
yeah, we do need to get them on here. Okay, back to hockey. Back to hockey. So, for those at home looking for some kind of younger talent, I went with a lot of young guys. Mason McTavish, Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnston. Nikash isn't that old. Bedard, Celebrini, Boldy, Suzuki, Stutzla. I got a good young team. Will it turn into, even if you come down here, I got Dustin Wolf in goal in Calgary. I got Stolars in Toronto, Hill in uh, Vegas. Picked up Geeky in the draft and Olin Zellweger. I'm very excited for this year. Now, I just need these young guys to be dominant because if you come back, this is last year's stats. This is one thing about all sports, but if you don't have top players, you don't really have a chance of winning. So I need some of these guys to elevate. Like I'm not even in the first screen. Like look at all the guys. I don't even have a top 20 player. So I need some of these guys to take a big step forward, these young talented guys, the next generation. And then I've got a good chance. If they don't, then it's just another year of waiting for them to kind of come into their full potential. I did want to bring up a draft theory.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked about in the past where, I feel like I've struggled in drafts. We talked about the difficulties I had in baseball this year. Um, uh, I think it's something that I've worked on quite a bit, as strange as that sounds. And one of the things that I think in football this year that went a lot better, like my teams are all performing relatively well. And in hockey, it felt like it went a little bit better. Is I followed the following approach. So I've always drafted based on position, positional value. So which position has the greatest potential, pick those ones first, compared to the average positional value. So, for example, quarterback, I would never pick a quarterback first, even if the quarterback is going to be the best player in the league. There's just so many quarterbacks, the gap between the best, like the maximum point returning quarterback versus the mean, the average, is quite small. You can maybe not get Josh Allen, but you're probably going to get somebody good. Now, if you look at tight ends, if you look at running backs, the top running backs compared to an average running back is quite a large gap. So I really focus there. Same with wide receivers to some degree. The really high end, there's lots of wide receivers, but the really high end guys who get a lot of targets, it's a much smaller group. So what I was doing this year in hockey is I was looking at the screen as I was drafting, and I was saying I want the highest producing guy. I generally know what positions are the more rare or higher returning. But I would say if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 centermen on my screen, and there's only 3 right wingers and 2 left wingers, well, I would say if they're within a cluster, I pick the left winger so that I'm getting the positional rarity, but the highest potential for that position, knowing that when we come back around, I'm probably going to be able to get a pretty good centerman. And I wanted to throw that out to chat to you, Ben. Beat up that theory, beat up that approach. Like, does that make sense? It's a really simple way to kind of make sure that you draft the right positional opportunities.
No, I think
Did
it.
I explain it
Yeah,
well enough?
I think it does make sense. And I'm less familiar, obviously, with hockey, but I mean, based off what you're saying and the example you gave with quarterbacks, like I do think that could be applied to the other sports that you're playing in. But I think that would be. I mean, I don't have much pushback to it, honestly. I know like everyone kind of has, like, because you and I kind of have differing styles of how we would pick a team and stuff. But I mean, what you're saying makes sense. I don't have like a ton of pushback to it other than I know like it's a preference for how someone would draft their team. I know like for football specifically, every year is so different for me. Like maybe there would be a year I would draft like that, and then maybe there would be a year where I would do like the complete opposite of that. It's so different for me year to year, and I think that is because of how weird the NFL is with just the amount of games. Like they're playing 16 games, or whatever. For a fantasy season, it's like 14 games, as opposed to hockey or basketball or baseball where they're playing games every single night over the course of a season. So I think with what you're saying, like that definitely would make more sense to me for a sport like that where they're playing a big, large amount of games and you're trying to get that production from them over the course of a longer season. And then in the NFL, it's just like, so I don't know. The NFL is so weird with the amount of games that they play and
Yeah.
stuff. Like fluky stuff can happen less, like more often than the other sports, just because the other sports, that stuff stabilizes over a couple months where they're playing games every single night.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, the crazy thing in NFL to me, with picking players, is you can't, big guy fantasy. Bob's kind of philosophy on consistency often reigns true because you can have some guys that come out and have a huge game, and that'll skew their stats. That'll skew their Z score per game. It'll skew a bunch of different categories, and you can't necessarily see it unless you look at the kind of each game by game. Whereas you don't really get that as much in hockey. Like, yeah, there's been times where like Sam Gagne had a 10-point game or whatever it is, but like that's so rare, and it seems way more common in NFL where there's one guy who just has a big night, and then that skews his stats for the rest of the year. Whenever you look at anything, and I think there's a lot of people who fall into that trap in NFL too. Then they overweight to someone who's had a couple big games. Um,
Yeah,
the
I
last
do
thing I
agree
was
with
just going to
that.
say, the one thing I was going to say just about this draft, just to kind of defend the theory, the reason why I really like it is going into a draft, you draft on your phone, whatever, you don't really need to do a bunch of research on what the positional stats are as long as you trust the list. And then you can go through and you can just use it visually. Like it's really easy. Okay, I'm picking fifth. Okay, I'm going to have a centerman, a defenseman, a right winger, a centerman, a center, a left winger. Okay, well, I should probably pick a defenseman or a left winger to get the highest value and rarest at that class, because I'll probably be able to get somebody else in my next go around that fits that. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that epiphany. We'll see how it works this year. Less of an issue with uh, things hosted on Fantrax, because as you're drafting, if you hit refresh, it actually starts filling in the players during the draft. So I find it even easier on Fantrax to get the guys that you want using
Yeah.
SportWise.
Yep. And I think that definitely, knowing like, because guys go different spots on. I'm sure it's different for hockey, but like between Yahoo and Fantrax or Sleeper or ESPN, whatever, like guys get drafted in different spots. So that's definitely something that you should be paying attention to. And you see that a lot of times in football. Like there'll be a guy that gets picked, 45th overall on ESPN, and he goes like 68th on Yahoo. Like it's like a huge discrepancy between the two sites, and
Yeah.
taking advantage of that is very important.
Well, the other thing too that's interesting about it is so much of it is the pre-draft ranking or projections or whatever that particular fantasy platform is using. Because so many people just go off the same list. That's the magic of using SportWise. You can come up with
Yeah.
something like a Z score ranking with weighting that works for you, that fits your model of how you pick players. And you have a completely separate list. If you want to actually include ADP, you can add that. And that can be a metric that's part of your Z score ranking or whatever weighted model, whatever you want to use to factor that in, so that you're picking people at the right spot. Because you don't want to have a high Z score and a low ADP, or like a high ADP, like later round ADP, because you know that you could probably draft that guy later and then get extreme value out of that particular pick. So that's the one thing that you kind of have to keep in mind is if you're using a tool like this to come up with your own ranking, you got to map it back to what everybody else is looking at, so that you don't inadvertently pick really great players, but pick them early and don't get the value that you might deserve because everyone else is just following ADP or projections.
Yep. I do agree with that. We got some Phillies fans in the chat here. Yeah. All right. I think that was educational, Steve.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a good idea, and then we'll fast forward a few
I'm
months
gonna
from now, and I
see.
will.
So I told the chat a couple days ago that we have our like intercompany hockey draft tomorrow. So I'll probably, I think it's like during the stream time. So I'll probably pop the stream and have the draft up on the stream tomorrow. So we'll see if I can apply some of those tactics in our hockey draft tomorrow.
Yeah, it's too bad because we're not using Fantrax this time around. We're using Yahoo.
It's on Yahoo.
We
Yeah.
could have tried the like live draft tool. I did also want to share my screen one time and just bring something to the attention of the chat. I don't know if the chat was aware that we went toe to toe last week, and
I was waiting for this. I forgot to take Ricky Pierce out of my lineup. No.
you still didn't have a chance.
Well, look at my bench, because you know who's on my bench. That 27.8 from Emeka Ibuka staring at me right there, man.
Yeah.
Would that have gave me the win? 27.
That would have
I
given
think
you
I
the
would have
win.
won. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
you
such
used
an
22.
idiot, man. I can't believe I forgot to take him out. It's because it was on Thursday, and I always go through and like, I'll set my teams right before Thursday night football, and something was going on Thursday. I don't think I got a chance to, and then I realized after it was too late.
Yeah. Would you have picked him versus Seattle versus?
Yes, I 100% would have picked him.
Yeah. Well,
I got to give credit to you. You beat me fair and square. That's my own fault.
you know what? And I got to get rid of Quentin Johnson. That's the other thing I learned.
I'll take him. Chad, look at my team on there. Like I have every rookie in the NFL. I've got Quinshon Judkins, Tyler Warren, and then we've got Emeka Buka, Ashton Genty, Trevion Henderson on the bench, Tedero McMillan. I literally have every single rookie. It's crazy.
And then Tyler Algier, how old is he? 36?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, look how old that guy looks.
I don't know. He's probably in like his 5th year, if I had to guess. Tyler Algier.
Yeah, it's not that old. I'm just joking.
No, but yeah, you beat me fair and square. What? Pop up the let's take a look at the standings real quick on here.
Drum roll, please.
The infamous Jeff Robinson is in first place.
The goon himself.
Yeah, Drake May, St. Brown, Calvin Ridley, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Kincaid Warren. It's got Romo Dunze down there. It's got a solid.
I think he
team.
was using your preseason draft kit.
I think he was. I think he told me he was going to take all my guys. So. He's got a solid team though. Odunze's been big. ETN's been good too. He's got down there.
I'm just wondering about you can't tell service time in Yahoo, can you?
No, I don't think so.
Because I want to come back and see transactions. If the Goon Squad's been picking anyone up, or if that's the team he drafted.
Is he just went straight off the draft? I don't think he's made very many pickups. Because I remember I looked at everyone's team after the draft, obviously, and it doesn't look.
He's made 0 pickups. That's the team he drafted.
Yeah, Jeff thinks we're playing best ball. I don't know. Does he know you can make a move?
He sure does. I know he's been quite busy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
give him that.
100%.
But and he's in first, so you can't fault him.
Yeah. Siege. I mean, I know a lot of the chat has had success in their leagues thus far. Like that's how easy it is. You just pop up SportWise. I mean, I can attest this. Jeff does not watch football or play fantasy football. Like this is just strictly from SportWise, and he's in first place in our league.
Yeah. The even in my other league that's relatively competitive. I'll tell you, just using SportWise makes all the world of difference because you're not working from the same list as everybody else. So I always use kind of fantasy points per game, like I mentioned previously. It's the great equalizer, and you can actually find a lot of guys coming off waiver wire or starting to rise quicker than you would otherwise. And just the sheer ability to filter out things makes life way better. And then we haven't released it to the world yet, but SportWise Coach, you can kind of come in and ask, like I was mentioning before, like, what's the average fantasy points by position? You can ask SportWise Coach that question and then compare the player and be like, do I really want to hold on to this guy? Oh, wait a minute. He's only averaging 2 points per game more than the average player. I could probably drop this and pick this person because I don't really need to stash that particular player. So it's just way easier to kind of make decisions. And, just with some filtering, it becomes very apparent who's rising up, who you should be considering on your roster. I'm going to take out some of the inactive guys. So Darren Waller still doesn't have a home. Actually, he's probably if I refresh this, I think he goes inactive because he's questionable, isn't he?
No, he's good to go.
He's good to go. Okay,
yeah. What a resurgence for him. He heard me talking, Steve. So his first game back was that I think it was Monday night. It was prime time. I don't think it was Thursday. I think it was Monday night. It was when the Jets played the Dolphins. And I literally came on the stream and I was like laughing at him. And I was like, he's dust. Like, why did he even try and come back? Like, I literally was like laughing in his face. and then he immediately scored 2 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry, Darren. I know you're
it's the
watching. I'm
most.
sorry, buddy. I take it back. I take it back.
And you literally use the most insulting insult ever. Dust. That
Dust.
guy's dust. Like
I
that
thought
is
he
like,
was
oh.
dust. Yeah. It's just because he tried to come back and then like he immediately was like didn't practice for like months, and I was like, why did this guy even try and come back if like this is the case? But yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry, Darren.
He's an athlete. Why? Where are my tight ends? They're coming up as I have no tight ends or something. Oh, they're both inactive then. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Darren Waller inactive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's okay. Let me see.
He's probably just questionable because if he's
Yeah.
questionable, then he goes to inactive. If he's got anything other than healthy,
Yeah, so he missed practice yesterday for like a hip and like rest, but then he was back at practice today. So I'm sure that'll update,
Okay, well, let's look at my tight ends because this is the beauty of the tool. I've got Kittle, he's still hurt. I got Juwan, he's dropping he was like averaging like 17 points per game the first 3 weeks. Waller, I got Pitsy, my boy, Tongays, your boy. What do you think?
Shout out Jake Tonges' first touchdown last week. Shout out.
Yeah. Big game. Like, should
Albert
I move on from
Okeo-Bunam.
Juwan?
Albert Okeo-Bunam. You guys remember him? He was like a big up and comer for the Broncos like 3 years ago. Like in the fantasy community, was like a big thing and just he never became anything. But it's funny, he's back kicking now for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz. Yeah, Zach Ertz is down there. So okay, so you're saying like should you replace your tight ends with any of these?
Yeah,
available.
Yeah, well, Kyle Pitts in particular.
Well, I mean Kittle. I would say Kittle will be back next week if I had to guess, not this week.
Okay.
So I think he's coming back soon. If at worst case, it would be 2 weeks from now. So at most, you need someone for 2 weeks because I do think he's close to coming back, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I would say for this week specifically, is this a half or a full PPR league? Do you know?
It's a full PPR.
Full PPR. Okay. So I would say I don't the 49ers are still pretty banged up. So I do think Tonjes is like in play. I would say it's probably between him and Pitts for this week.
So drop Juwan. Like we talked about
Juwan is droppable, I think, yeah.
Okay.
I do think that.
I'm probably going to go Pity. Just because he's been quite good through 4 games.
Yeah. I think Pitts is fine, and I think Tonjes is startable this week. And I don't even like a Mason Taylor is startable. It's a tough matchup, but he's been getting a lot of targets. So I think you're in a good spot for the next couple weeks until Kittle comes back. But I would be fine just rolling Pitts for this week.
Okay. Let's look at the wide receiver position. So Tyquan Thornton, we've got Rashee Rice coming back this week, or is he still suspended this week?
I think he's back next week.
Next week, 6
Someone
games,
in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's not playing this week, but I don't know if it's next week or the week after that he's back. Let me see.
I think he's suspended 6 games, so he probably has to sit this one, and then he gets to join the team on Monday.
So he's back next week. Thank you.
So will he play next week, do you think?
Yeah. In this? Oh, Tyquan Thornton will still play. But as far as fantasy goes, you're not going to want to rely on it. When Rice is back, it's going to be Rice and it's going to be Worthy and a little bit of Travis Kelce. Like they are going to really, really consolidate those targets. I don't see them throwing much to, Juju, Thornton. Like you would say Tyquan could be like their field stretcher, but they could also use Hollywood Brown in that role. So it's like I don't know. I don't know what's to come for the ancillary KC receivers because I think they're just gonna consolidate it. Like it's just gonna be Worthy, it's gonna be Rice, it's gonna be Kelsey, and that's about that.
Okay. So assuming they're falling, Wandell's kind of maintained. We know we got Dart coming in. He doesn't throw the ball as well. Is he falling or is he rising?
Yeah, kind of matchup dependent for him with no neighbors. Um, like the target tree obviously is increased with Malik Neighbors off the field, but he's not the he's not like a guy that's really going to command like down the field targets. He's more of like the short to like intermediate quick passes. Like in theory, that would be good because Jackson Dart needs to get the ball out quick because he is a rookie quarterback. But Jackson Dart is a very much like he doesn't really like to check down. I don't think like he'll just throw it down the field whether he throws a pick or not. So I think it's kind of matchup dependent for Wan'Dale Robinson. I would rather have I think I'd rather have Kendrick Bourne on my team than Wan'Dale Robinson because Kendrick Bourne, while San Fran is banged up, is like usable. Like I don't think Ricky Pearsall is going to play this week. Now he'll probably come back next week, and they're going to have Kittle back and like all that stuff. So it's going to be short lived for Kendrick Bourne, but for this week, like Kendrick Bourne is going to score more than Wan'Dale Robinson.
Interesting. Okay. And if we look down the list, I know we've talked a lot about Manor. I've got him in the expert league.
Yep.
Dammy Brown.
Yeah, he's been solid.
Marv. I picked up Olamide in the expert league. Anybody else on this list that you think that we think is rising that would be worth filling the bench and dropping Wandell and Hollywood?
The only guy that sticks out to me on that list is Torrey Horton, and that's just because Torrey Horton's very good. And he's been coming on in recent weeks. Now, he's never going to be the number one on the Seahawks because they have Jackson Smith and Jigba. But I do think he's better right now than Cooper Kupp. When I use the term dust, Cooper Kupp is dust. I'm sorry. It hurts me to say, but I mean, he's just not what he once was. Torrey Horton is legitimately good. I think he scored 2 weeks in a row now, or 2 of the last 3, one of the 2. But I know he scored this past Sunday. So Torrey Horton is interesting because he could ascend and become the number 2 on that team, and he's very good football player.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I was going to say I could pull up the games and we can look at who was good last week, just in general. But that might be overkill for this conversation right now. But
Yeah.
for chat, like I go in and we have in the data directory.
You'll see Kendrick Bourne at the top of that list for last week.
Like we've got the player game stats. So if you are looking to put targets on there, there's targets on this list. Bottom. If you're curious as to who's been good.
Podson has a good question here for us. Ryan Flournoy, Isaiah Pacheco, or Troy Franklin, PPR Deep League. I would take Troy Franklin there. Pacheco, I mean, Deep League, I wouldn't drop him, Podson, but I mean, that guy is like droppable at this point. Just total disaster fall off for Isaiah Pacheco. And Flournoy, I would trust. He looked good. I like him a little bit. But I would trust Troy Franklin slightly more. So I would go Troy Franklin if it was my team, I think.
Yeah, I tried to go after Troy Franklin in expert league, so it outbid me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, he'd be a great guy to have on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kendrick
I did. Like, I
Bourne.
knew he had a good game, but I didn't realize
Monster
he had
game,
10
man.
receptions.
Yep. But
Um,
it's short lived though. Like once they get Kittle back and like Pearsall back and stuff, like that's not going to be the case. But in the meantime, he is usable.
Even Kieran Williams, he had a good game last week. Won me some weeks.
Yeah, I talked about
Um,
this on the video, the DFS video this week. What is up with Kyron Williams and like the Rams? Like, how come whenever and this has been the case for years, whoever the backup is, if they fumble, they're like in the shadow realm. Like you never see him again. But Kyron Williams fumbles every game and they just trot him back out there for 30 times. Like, I don't understand this. What is with the deal with Kyron Williams? He fumbles all the time. Fumbled 2 times in the playoffs last year. All the time he fumbles and they don't care. They trot him back out there and give him all the touches. But the second that Blake Corum or whoever the backup is fumbles, they're like banned from the game. You never see him again. I don't understand this.
banned from the game.
Does anybody ask Sean McVay about this? I want to know because I don't understand what the deal is. He fumbles all the time and they don't care, but anyone else fumbles and it's like the biggest deal.
I don't have the answer for you, but I agree with your observation. I'm okay with it because I was a bit worried that
Yeah,
he's
you
going to
have
be
him on your
sharing.
team, so
Yeah,
that's
and I have
good
him
for
in my
you.
yeah. And I didn't think, I thought that, okay, well, some of the young talent behind, they'll be there to observe, get a few touches this year, but it'll still be him. And then when they came out and said, well, they're probably going to split the touches, I was like, oh shoot, if I over leveraged on Kieran Williams, because I picked him high, and I think I picked him in the 3rd round or 4th round in 2 leagues. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay, go to the confession booth with your priest, say your Hail Marys, get back out there and fumble again.
I don't understand it, man. And for the first time, really for the first time since we saw the ascension of Kyron Williams, Blake Corum was cutting into his early down work. We have never seen that. Like he actually was for like 2 weeks, and then he fumbles last week and you don't see him again. But Kyron fumbles in the same game and it doesn't matter. They don't care. I understand it. Podsense says cool site. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, nice. Any final thoughts? I got to run to another meeting.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Survivor. We didn't talk
Oh
Survivor.
yeah. You put your.
We'll do
your
that
post up
real
there,
quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. So, this has been the strangest year in Survivor for me because there's been upsets in the past. That's okay. That happens. But this year, it feels like there's been 2 collapses that have just absolutely killed me. Colts the 1 week, and then my team, the Cards, last week, with that
was
insane
crazy.
collapse. Like, that is like the
Amari
literalist.
DiMercato. What do you make? I know like you got to run, but what do you make of like the Gannon getting fined and all that stuff? Like just a
Well,
disaster going on over there too.
you can't touch your employees, so
Yeah,
I
you
completely
can't.
agree with it. You
Like
can't do that.
I don't
He
understand why
knows.
he did. Yeah, like dude, just bench him and like cut him. What does that do? Like even if you want to get like that, do it in the locker room. Like I don't know what good does it do you to do that on the sideline? I thought that was strange.
It's the power of emotions. Lose your cool,
Yeah,
and
and he
logic goes
probably
out the
knows
window.
like
And
he's kind of like on thin ice, I feel like. Like I don't think he's a bad coach at all, but I mean if they go down the same path they've gone the last few seasons, like they could fire him, I guess,
yeah, he'll be done. So I think that's primarily it. Is that he lost his cool, and he's lucky that he didn't get fired for it.
Yeah.
If you were in any other work environment, you would have been immediately dismissed.
Yeah,
And
any other, yeah, exactly. I do agree with that.
I did find the Jerry Jones thing quite funny, though. I don't know if you saw
Jerry
that.
should have just owned it. He tried to like play it off.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just be like, yeah, I flipped him off. Like, come on.
Yeah. He's like, I gave him the thumbs up. Oh, I'm an old crazy man. It's like, you knew what you're doing, Jerry, and you've done that
Yeah,
before.
come on, Jerry.
So, anyways, this week, it's interesting. I was kind of leading up the segue of the Colts versus the Cards, and the Colts actually, when we look at it in terms of performance data, are the kind of 3rd best favorite for home teams. So, I'm not going anywhere near either of those teams this week. I only have 1 entry of 4 remaining. We're in week 6, which is kind of
Yeah.
crazy that I've lost 3 already. And 2 of them I've lost because of those absolute collapses. But I am fading Ohio, as I posted on Reddit, and I'm gonna go Packers this week. And if we look going forward, like I'll just go back to the default so I can remove this.
I'm mad at the Packers because I had them versus Dallas and lost because they tied.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But if we go with Packers, then they've got I'll do minimum 6. We can sort by this week. They've got Cards next week. That might be a good option, but they're away, and they got Steelers. Not going to do that one. Panthers, that might be a good one. Then they got Eagles, not doing that one. Giants might be a good one, but didn't they lose the Giants already? Who did the Packers lose to? They
The
should have beat
Browns.
Browns, right? And then your other option is Steelers. And then Steelers have Browns, Bengals. So I'm probably going to save them next week for the Bengals. Then they play the Packers, and then they play Indy, and then they play the Chargers, and then they play Cincy. So I kind of want to save them because they've got a few more options there.
Yeah.
So I'm going Packers this week.
Packers are a good pick this week. I have no issues with that.
All
right.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah. Kenny stayed trolling the chat. Judy or Jacoby rest of season full PPRs. Jacoby for me pretty firmly. I don't trust the Browns at all rest of this season. Stuff's gonna get weird with the quarterbacks. Jacoby has not done anything. I know you're frustrated, Kenny, but the work is still there and the potential is still there. Like the volume is still going to be there. I still think he's going to have a big game, hopefully this week. Judy, I don't trust with the Browns quarterback situation.
Yeah. Until Shadare gets in there and then hop on him.
Dude, they might put Bailey Zappi in before they put him in.
What happens if Shadare gets put in and then the Browns make the playoffs?
I mean, that would be crazy. I don't know if they could even make the playoffs at this point, but I mean they could, but
they're in week 6.
Yeah, that would be that would be
They
insane.
need to give him a chance. Like Dylan Gabriel, like that guy's not a legend. There's no legend in that name. That guy sounds like a wrestler with 2 first names. Dylan Gabriel. He fought Hogan in '84.
WrestleMania.
Anyway, so last shout out, Shadare.
Right.
Those in the chat, check out SportWise, check out Data
Yes. Check out SportWise if you're building any tools. Check out the Data Feeds product. Chat. Make sure you follow the TikTok. I'm going live this weekend on TikTok. Rolling Insights. Most of you probably follow it, but if you don't, go follow our TikTok. There'll be extra live streams over there. And I'll be live here on YouTube tomorrow, 4 p.m., talking season long and college football. Huge college football slate Saturday, Steve. A lot of good games. Pretty excited.
Yeah, big week.
But yeah, good luck tonight with fantasy and all that stuff. And I will see everyone tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.